future is already here. We are creating it every day. What once was only a vision, today is reality. Let's live the future. Think digital, act digital, feel digital. Welcome to the Western Balkans Digital Summit, Podgorica 2021.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this final day of the 4th Western Balkans Digital Summit. At the very beginning, we will assist to the opening of the high-level meeting. The opening will be moderated by the personality that can easily be defined as the soul of this summit. Ladies and gentlemen, Montenegrin Minister for Public Administration, Digital Society and Media, Ms. Tamara Srzentic.
Test. I hope you all can hear me. Thank you, Rade. Thank you all and good morning all. Thank you for joining us for the third and final day of the Western Balkan Digital Summit. Hope you're all caffeinated and ready to dig in because we have a really good lineup of sessions in front of you. Over the last 2 days, our experts, colleagues and partners led us through the wide range of topics in the areas of digital skills, digital economy, network and connectivity, and trust and security. We have been impressed with the amount of engagement and participation we've witnessed so far, and as we wrap up the third day, we hope that we are leaving you energized, informed, and inspired. So this morning, I'm really thrilled and honored to introduce a lineup of legendary speakers, esteemed leaders. Well, I'll first start with Prime Minister Zdravko Krivokapić, excuse me. In the fall of last year, I was in California. I got a call from Prime Minister Zdravko Krivokapić to serve in a brand new government of Montenegro that had a bold and a reformative agenda. He was on a mission to drive change in Montenegro by empowering leaders like myself and catalyze a new approach to how government serves our people that was grounded in liberty, justice, equity, and empathy. So thanks to Prime Minister Krivokapić, digital transformation is high up on the government of Montenegro's agenda. It is one of our 5 key priorities of our team. So without a further ado, with an immense sense of gratitude and honor, I give a floor to our Prime Minister of Montenegro. Thank you.
Uvaženi ministri, poštovane dame i gospodo, kolege i prijatelji. Ovo je izuzetan dan za Crnu Goru jer se 4. put za redom održava digitalni samit i ovoga puta baš ovdje u Podgorici i u trenutku kada imamo jednu dodatnu obavezu, a to je da učinimo naše društvo što je moguće više digitalnim. Ako bi se osvrnuo na neki prethodni vremenski period, ja mogu da vam kažem ono što vrlo često ponavljam i studentima. Naš život je posebno specifičan jer uvijek u njemu dominiraju tehnologije. I taj dodatak čovjeka sa tehnologijama čini život lakšim, kvalitetnijim i što je najvažnije, sa mogućnošću brže komunikacije. Kada to kažem, mislim na sledeće. Tehnologija je tu, tehnologija je prisutna, ali mi ne možemo biti robovi tehnologije. Tehnologija treba da služi čovjeku, a ne čovjek toj tehnologiji. Mi danas upravo živimo u vremenu kada se desio taj jedan incident i sve društvene mreže 24 časa nijesu funkcionisale i pola čovečanstva je bilo zbunjeno. Jer smo toliko se srodili sa digitalnim pristupom da bilo šta što se desi teško prihvatamo jer navika je jača od onoga što se dešava u životu. Osnovno opredeljenje ove vlade je pametan, održiv i inkluzivan pristup. Da bi se taj pristup mogao realizovati u praksi, neophodno je da što više budemo digitalni. I ta digitalna transformacija je ono što je zadatak ove vlade. Ne zbog toga što živimo u vremenskom periodu kada je u toj industriji 4.0 nemoguće biti prisutan bez informaciono-komunikacionih tehnologija. Ne zbog toga, nego samo zbog toga da bi nam život bio kvalitetniji, lakši i da bi komunikacija mogla da bude u realnom vremenu. To je zadatak koji sve nas povezuje. Ako se osvrnemo na 3 prethodna samita, onda ja ne mogu da kažem da na ovom 4. samitu imamo 4 krucijalne teme koje obuhvataju sve ono što je karakteristika današnjeg trenutka. A to je prvo, i na nju bi obratio posebnu pažnju, digitalne vještine i kompetencije. I upravo tu je ta veza koju preslikavamo kroz oblast koja treba da bude najviše zastupljena u našem obrazovanju. Kako da dođemo do tih potrebnih vještina i dovoljne kompetencije, a ovi prostori zajednički imaju sve preduslove za to, jer imaju ljude koji razmišljaju, bar na crnogorskom nivou, u tom digitalnom kontekstu 0.1. To je preduslov koji treba iskoristiti za povezivanje i u regionu. Ako pogledamo drugu temu, ta druga tema je ništa manje značajna, to je digitalna ekonomija. I kada to primijenimo u našem svakodnevnom životu, onda ćemo imati ono što je najvažnije, a to je da naš odgovor na sva dešavanja bude takav da se sve dešava sa 0 gubljenja vremena. Ako pogledamo treću dimenziju, to je ta dimenzija koja je nesumnjivo vrlo značajna, a pogotovo za naš region, to je to povezivanje i komunikacija. I tu svi zajedno možemo samo da dobijemo. I naravno, možda je ova 4. oblast najspecifičnija, jer u toj oblasti se dešavaju i najveći problemi, a to je bezbjednost. I to bezbjednost koja je digitalnog karaktera i kao što svakodnevno možemo uočiti, predstavlja izazov za sve nas. Kao što je neko nekada svojevremeno rekao, jedino sigurno što imate u primjeni računara, a da to bude bezbjedno, da taj računar bude vezan u jednoj prostoriji, da je ta prostorija zaključana i da je taj računar isključen sa komunikacionog pristupa. To je jedina 100% sigurnost. I upravo problem bezbjednosti u digitalnom smislu zaokupljuje pažnju ne samo nas koji kreiramo javne politike, nego i naučnike širom svijeta. Posebno bih odao zahvalnost ministarki koja je uspjela sve nas da nas okupi i da nas drži pod pažnjom bukvalno 5 dana, a moram da kažem da je u našem ekspozeu ključno težište upravo bila digitalna transformacija i mi u traženju najbolje osobe koja može da odgovori tom izazovu prepoznali smo našu Tamaru, koja je u tom trenutku radila odgovoran posao u Kaliforniji i to upravo na problemima sa kojima smo se mi sretali nekoliko mjeseci poslije toga, a to je da pandemija koja se desila kao jedna velika pošast koju je čovečanstvo uzdrmalo sa svake strane, je nametnula jedinu dobru stvar, a to je da budemo digitalno što više i da krenemo na način razmišljanja koji je digitalan. I upravo kroz ovo što se radi u okviru ministarstva koje u svom težištu ima digitalno društvo, govori o potrebi povezivanja sa svim ostalim ministarstvima, a ja bih posebno to istakao, Ministarstvo zdravlja, Ministarstvo prosvete, Ministarstvo ekologije, Ministarstvo kapitalnih investicija i zašto ne i Ministarstvo održivog razvoja, prostornog planiranja i urbanizma. Jer u svim tim oblastima kada imate logistiku koja je digitalna, vaš uspjeh će biti sigurno veći. Ja želim još jednom da vam se zahvalim što ste danas sa nama, što ćemo imati priliku da razmijenimo brojna iskustva, što će ovo biti još jedan skup koji će pokazati da ovaj region mora zajednički da djeluje, a upravo kroz ovu digitalnu primjenu i digitalnu transformaciju možemo omogućiti da svi budemo na svome značajni, uspješni i dominantni. Ovo je vrijeme u kome pobjeđuje znanje, a znanje bez digitalne transformacije danas vam je kao nekad u srednjem vijeku, imali ste znanje, ali nijeste znali da pišete. To je nešto što predstavlja poruku o kojoj trebamo svi da razmislimo i da zajedničkim naporima učinimo region ne samo digitalni, nego bolje povezanim i da ono što predstavlja neku mrlju Zapadnog Balkana zaboravimo, a da krenemo u budućnost zajedno sa digitalnim razmišljanjem. Hvala vam.
Thank you. Thank you to my Prime Minister for his hearty and inspiring message. Digital Summit Western Balkans 6 could not be possible without the RCC team, who has been the driving force and the North Star behind this and other regional digital transformation efforts. We continue to be inspired by and grateful for the RCC leadership team for your bold agenda and leadership. It is our huge honor to have here at our stage in Podgorica Secretary General of the Regional Cooperation Council, my friend, fierce Ms. Marlinda Bregu. Please proceed to the stage.
Dear Prime Minister, dear Tamara, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. First, let me commend you, Prime Minister. You knocked it out of the park with Tamara. And you are really lucky to have a person that possesses strong and deep knowledge on the digital agenda. For nearly, let's say, 6 hours on Monday, 10 days ago, the world experienced a forced break from Facebook's social networking tools. We all live to tell the tale, but how did we feel in the process? I bet some ancient regions in our brains were triggered to alarm us. At the beginning, we were afraid of missing out, a sort of light panic from not knowing what's happening and losing connection to others. Then relief followed because everybody was experiencing it. Now, somebody might ask how Facebook outage can attach your attention to my speech today at the Western Balkans Digital Summit. Well, truth said, RCC has nothing to do with Facebook, WhatsApp, or Instagram outage. But the implications of digital reality on the citizens of this region have to be considered, and those are a lot. There are more than 10 million active Facebook users in the Western Balkans. Apparently, the outage episode of Facebook showed not only how reliant we all are on digital technologies, on the social media to connect, to escape, to be devastated by a word of criticism, or happy with a lavish praise. But it paints a broad picture of main impacts. Digital technology governs people's moods, marketing campaigns, dominates news and politics, reorganizes economies, education, transforms medicine, makes use of our personal data for good or bad, reshapes people's jobs, inspires hackers, and exposes all of us to the risk of cyber attacks. What do Western Balkans internet users utilize to get the online services they are looking for? In July 2021, so actually this year, Over 97% of active user accounts in the region access the social networks via their mobile phone. And let me stop here. A phone, or better, a smartphone, is a need for everyone, as it helps us to connect with each other and keeps ourselves busy. Browsing on the websites, playing games for somebody, listening to music, watching movies, and for some others like myself, working from everywhere. Connectivity is a primary need for humans, and if this stands true, as I am sure of, Roam Like at Home regime is a digital service of public good. 1st of July this year, Roam Like at Home in the Western Balkans, our joint success story, entered into force. It was achieved through constant efforts invested by Western Balkan governments, regulators, through the genuine cooperation and understanding among all stakeholders. There was a political motivation to eradicate the so-called bill shock. There was a clear market value on doing this. Business community highly supported the process. There is a gain for all citizens. The same logic prevails today. At the Bordeaux summit last week, I'm happy a sound, balanced, and pragmatic roadmap developed by RCC, together with Western Balkan economies, was acknowledged as the way forward. This document provides a reasonable and sustainable way toward lowering the roaming charges with EU that will see us nearing the domestic prices in 2027. In practical terms, will decrease the roaming charges by more than 90% in the currently most expensive Western Balkans mobile networks. Now, let me be clear. I know the politics favors caution too, but a plurality of us, I think and I hope, they believe what I do believe as well. There is no justification or market logic why a citizen from this region, not the richest one on earth, should pay on average, while roaming in EU, 103 euros per 1 gigabyte, while the cost of the telecom operator is only 8 euros. A telecom operator retail margin, or simply said, profit, for all services, data, SMS, above 700% reflects no market logic. We are aware that this roadmap, designed to protect Western Balkan consumers from excessive prices while allowing competition in the provision of roaming services to develop, will require an open, transparent, and inclusive process of consultation with mobile operators in Western Balkans and EU. And we'll do this through a structured regulatory dialogue. Distinguished participants, yesterday, 6 winners of the RCC trademark Balkaton competition, one from each Western Balkans economy, presented their digital solutions here, and those are ready to be marketed. Why we at RCC put our soul to support youth and innovation in the digital agendas during the last years? Because unfortunately, our region is emptying. Young people, at 61%, want to leave. And if we do not think of creative, democratic, and smart policies to keep them home, they, the innovators that are paving the way for more innovations to come, will leave our communities, our cities, our countries. The digital agenda of the Western Balkans that RCC is supporting contains multitudes of many regional actions across the common regional market, like the Western Balkans Digital Skills and Job Coalition, recently launched by RCC, preparing the region for the 5G, broadband internet connections for 95% of households in the next 3 years, work toward faster, cheaper, and easier cross-border transactions, expedite free flow of data, which is the 5th freedom of a common market, and a lot more. Digital platforms are recasting the relationships between customers, but on e-banking and e-shopping, all Western Balkan economies are below the EU average and range from 3% to 23% for e-banking, and 1 to 47% for the e-shopping. On average, 62% of Western Balkan citizens indicate that they have used more online shopping during the pandemic, from which 85% believe that they will continue to shop online even after the pandemic. While the bigger this becomes, the more reason is to be cautious about our personal data use. Dear participants, dear Prime Minister, we are racing to reach high standards of EU member states. Despite we try to run with the same speed as EU member states, we started our race later, and hence we can never reach EU unless facing in the EU policies that are happening today in the EU will start to be implemented in the Western Balkans. I am using this forum and this opportunity today to propose to you, ministers and politicians, heads of governments, everybody who takes care of the digital agenda, to start a very demanding but beneficial process of creating the digital identity, with the objective to offer to the citizens and business of this region digital wallets that will be able to link their national digital identities with proof of other personal attributes, like the driving license, diplomas, bank account, etc. EU launched this process just a few months ago. But data is power, and some countries are using the digital infrastructure to empower people, to enrich them by data. Enabling citizens to have a trustworthy digital identity is one way of bringing them to the formal economy. I believe Western Balkan economies may seek opportunities to replicate this, and we at RCC are ready to support with any regional action needed for this process to start immediately. On a last note, RCC is coordinating the green agenda in the Western Balkans. It will be costly and a very challenging one. Our obligation to citizens requires dedicated work on a greener region, and Montenegro is one of the economies who is a front-runner on that regard. But major advances in energy sources, electric transport, heating, will not be enough to reach the net zero by 2015 unless cities and innovations are digitally interconnected for real impact. We are open and committed to work further with governments, CCOs, media, business community to meet the challenges that RCC has been asked to coordinate. Dear all, Western Balkans during these last years has changed a lot. EU as well has changed a lot. We come face to face each day with the question, is regional cooperation enough to make our economies and our lives change for better? You know the answer and you can name it. It is not enough. It cannot be successful without the process of Europeanization of our countries. But we should as well remind all that faithfulness to our European challenge is the desire to talk, to make jokes, to work together, to compromise with integrity for the benefit of the processes we are developing together, to generate actions and to achieve results. This can be our truth and the success of this region. No losers, but only winners on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Ms. Bregu for her as always, grounding and inspiring message with specific calls to action. Thank you, Melinda. Today, we are especially honored to have Mr. Oliver Vahey, the Commissioner for Neighborhood and Enlargement, on a video call to share with us his key messages on the Digital Summit. So let's hear from Mr. Vahey.
Honorable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to address you at the 4th Western Balkans Digital Summit digitally, as it fits such a summit. First of all, let me congratulate to all the Western Balkan partners for the successful introduction of a Roam Like at Home in July this year. This is a great achievement in itself and the result of the sustained joint efforts over the past year. It has a symbolic message. Together, we can do it. It is also an important step towards the EU. Building on this success, we need to work on lowering roamer costs between the EU and the Western Balkans. To achieve this goal, we have jointly developed a roadmap that aims to lower tariffs and improve the business environment for telecom operators and provides numerous opportunities for economic growth of the region through reforms. I invite all telecom operators to join the process and implement this roadmap swiftly. It is an opportunity to create a win-win situation for businesses and people across the region. We have the framework in place to support the digital transformation in the Western Balkans. The Economic and Investment Plan outlines our joint priorities and provides substantial financial support. Digital infrastructure is one of its key flagships. We have already approved 13 grants supporting preparation of broadband infrastructures or setting up of data centers aligned with EU rules, including data protection. Once the preparatory work has been completed, the investments generated by EU support go up as high as 500 million euros. To create a well-functioning market, investments are not enough. The regulatory environment also needs to be reformed. That is why it is equally important to implement the common regional market agreed by the Western Balkan leaders last year. You can count on my support to your efforts to create a regional digital area, aligning the Western Balkans with the EU single market. Let us do it again together.
Thank you to Mr. Raheli. And now on behalf of the World Health Organization, joining us remotely is Dr. Natasha Azopardi Muscat, Director for Country Health Systems and Policies at the WHO Regional Office in Europe. Let's hear from Dr. Muscat.
Esteemed Prime Ministers and Ministers, Commissioner Vaheli, friends and colleagues, it is truly a pleasure to be able to address you at today's roundtable on behalf of the WHO Regional Office for Europe. As you well know, COVID-19 has highlighted the crucial link between health, economy, and societal prosperity. Despite decades of warnings of a pandemic on the scale of COVID-19 and calls to pay attention to developments at the nexus of human, animal, and environmental health, the global community and individual economies were woefully unprepared when the SARS-CoV-2 virus first emerged in late 2019. As a result, mistaken and misaligned policy responses were made, also in the Western Balkan economies. The impacts have been and continue to be devastating, not only for health and well-being, but also for economies, social cohesion, and education. These effects fall disproportionately on the vulnerable, those already disadvantaged, and will be felt for a long time to come. Just over a year ago, the regional director, Hans Kluge, asked a group of 19 European political, academic, and scientific leaders to rethink policy priorities in the light of pandemics, guided by the vision of Professor Mario Monti. The aim has been to provide governments and decision-makers with a set of recommendations on how to protect us from future health threats and make progress in health and sustainable development across the entire European region. The result of this work is the report Drawing Light from the Pandemic, with 7 objectives and a series of related recommendations that call for innovation and investment in healthcare, taking steps to tackle inequalities, harnessing the potential of big data, and improving health governance. The report places a strong emphasis on the link between sustainable development and health as set out in the UN Sustainable Development Goals, which remain our guiding compass. Respecting the commitments that we have made through our governments and changing how we operate requires bold actions. And this change, this urgent transformation, needs to be enabled by investment in digital technologies with the aim of leading to better, more equitable access to health services and data. Why? First, economies that have fared best during the pandemic are those that have a history of strategic investments in integrated public health and primary care systems, underpinned by mature digital ecosystems. This enabled them to reconfigure their health services quickly, maintaining continuity of essential health services as they scaled up their pandemic response. Second, real-time access to high-quality health data has been shown to be a key determinant of success in developing timely and appropriate responses to the pandemic, and empowering populations to better manage their own health and well-being. But this access is still a long way off for many European economies. Much of the data captured in our health systems and primary care in a large part of our region remains paper-based, with processes that are outdated. I urge you to increase your focus on digitalization, governance, and accountability of health data as a key enabler of the effective pandemic response, improved treatment outcomes, and increased access to health services. Lastly, COVID has taught us many timely and relevant lessons, the most important being that coordinated action across government portfolios is the only effective approach to addressing complex, multidimensional health challenges. Digital health technologies are a conduit to better health security and economic prosperity. And digital transformation enables better integration between the health, social welfare, and education sectors. We have now launched the Western Balkans Digital Health Sub-Regional Network as a vehicle for delivering on the Western Balkan country roadmap. This will support strengthening the preparedness for EU accession, accelerating the development of digital health solutions, and ensuring that these are founded on the principles of equity and human rights. I encourage your ministries to play an active role in this network and take pragmatic steps to empower your populations through access to health services and data. It is time for us to move beyond discussion to action on digital health that is an important lever to deliver a post-COVID-19 era that is fairer and better. Thank you.
Thank you to Dr. Muscat and WHO for this very grounding and important message. Dear ladies and gentlemen, Prime Minister Krivokapic, Ms. Bregu, I'd like to take you one more time for very inspiring speeches. This year's summit took place against the backdrop of the recovery from COVID-19 pandemic. Moving forward with a hybrid model where most of the speakers join us online did not prevent us from having an incredibly rich and dynamic conference experience. This year's agenda was packed with leading voices on public interest technology with over 90 speakers, dozens of keynotes and breakout sessions, and over 1,200 participants following and interacting during the summit, which I find truly spectacular. Digital Summit always sends attendees home full of energy and optimism. I hope we all continue to connect, engage with one another, and build bridges for a stable and integrated region. I personally thank all of you who have joined us and engaged us over the last 3 days, and I want to leave you with a few questions. What are the lessons you're taking from this event? What are the key actions you're going to take on Monday as a result of this event? And I would like to also invite you to provide us with the feedback so we can make the next set of events even more meaningful and relevant to you all. So again, a huge thank you once again from the government of Montenegro, and I'd like to call Rado and Digi right now to wrap up the event. Thank you so much.
I really don't know if this was a good idea to come here, Digi, in your digital world. You can interact with the real world. Why should I be here?
You were talking about the digital transformation. Here you are, digitally transformed. And also because, as your co-host, there is an important moment I was waiting for during these 3 days of the summit. You had a great time presenting this event, right?
Yes, it was really great. Why?
Because I am going to take the floor now, and you are going to be lost somewhere in virtual space.
No. Digi, no.
Don't worry, I'll download you back onto a USB flash memory stick, but later.
Digi, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a great time and that this summit will be remembered not only for the digital co-hosting, myself, but also for some rather important discussions and insights about the digital future of this region. On behalf of the organizer, the Ministry of Public Administration, Digital Society and Media of Montenegro, and the co-organizer, RCC, and on behalf of my real-life co-host, Radoje, I wish you a lot of success and an amazing digital transformation. Thank you very much, and do keep in touch.